Roll Tide, everybody, and welcome to the Bama Tailgate YouTube channel. We're going to talk about the spring practice coming up for Alabama on the offensive side of the ball. Some of the things that I'm looking forward to seeing. We know we're not getting a conventional 8A game. Did a show on that. You guys and me kind of agree we're going to miss that. But let's just talk about some of the battles that we're looking forward to seeing. And this isn't going to encompass everything, but just kind of on the offensive side of the ball, what to look for and where some of the most highly contested positions are going to be. Let's get this thing started. Like, subscribe, thumbs up. Look, I'm on the road, but I'm not stopping for you guys. What do you say, everybody? Mick Gillespie, and here we are on the Bama Tailgate YouTube channel, and we're talking Alabama football. Now, you can't talk about this year's spring practice and the position battles without starting quarterback being the number one thing. Obviously, Jalen Milroe off to the NFL. 2 straight seasons he was the starter. He went through a quarterback battle and beat Ty Simpson for the job. And and so here we are, kind of next year, figuring out who the next guy is going to be. And it's almost like the Pope, when you go and get a new Pope or the guy running for president, when you're the quarterback in the state of Alabama at the University of Alabama, everybody remembers you. And then you're held to this standard. Hey, if you're going to win a national championship, right? And so that's what Ty Simpson and Austin Mack and Keelan Russell are all kind of vying for right now. We've talked about this a lot. Simpson comes in with the experience as the backup. He's the guy that we kind of expect to be the heir apparent, but it's not necessarily going to be that way. I think that when you talk about this thing, the Austin Mack has the experience of being around this coaching staff, having transferred with them from Washington. And I wonder how much that's going to benefit him, or is it going to matter at all? And then I don't think Keelan Russell at this point is going to factor in the in the race. I think he'll get the experience this year, get some reps, but it's open. I think it's really a 2-man race right now, unless, like I said, unless something crazy happens and Keelan Russell just comes in and just picks it up really fast and blows the other 2 guys out of the way. Okay, so then you go to the offensive line, and obviously Tyler Booker going to the NFL. He's going to be a first-round pick. He was, a captain and an All-American, and it's going to be tough to replace him. One of the all-time best offensive linemen under, Coach Saban, and then obviously under DeBoer last year. So that's the left guard spot. Who's going to be that guy? I think a lot of us feel like it's Geno Vandermark. Remember, he transferred from Wisconsin and played last year, a couple starts, but he was in a lot of games. I want to say maybe 12 or 13 total. And he's going to be a factor. Now, the other guy in this spot that is interesting to me really is 5-star Michael Carroll. Comes from a football background. Bama got him from Pennsylvania. He was a huge get for the Crimson Tide. And I got a feeling that Michael Carroll, Big Mike's going to be a factor in this thing. And then also Alabama had the Texas A&M transfer, Cam Dewberry, another guy that I think could factor into this discussion as well. Carroll, being a true freshman, you wonder how fast he's going to pick it up. And who knows, maybe he's like a Caden Proctor type, comes in and immediately is an impact guy. But that's a position battle that I'm looking at. And then the other thing that we've kind of learned too under Coach DeBoer is if you don't win the battle, doesn't mean that you're not going to play. Guys are still going to get reps. So I think that, if Michael Carroll comes in and doesn't necessarily need to be the starter to get experience, play hard in practice, they find a way to get these guys in. But I'll tell you what, it would be great if he just came in and all of a sudden just bullied guys and made an impact. And then Dewberry from Texas A&M. We've had a pretty good track record lately with these guys transferring from Texas A&M, so we'll see. Now on the other side of the line, you got to talk about the tackle spot, and with Elijah Pritchett really transferring. Remember, he got in the portal a couple years ago, but decided to stay. Well, Pritchett's gone. I didn't think he had a great year anyhow. And then you start to look at, who could be the guy that comes in there and takes that spot. I'm guessing that Wilkin Formby, another year under his belt. We saw him play really well at times, and then he was terrible at other times. But he'll be another year experienced, and you hope that maybe this is the year where he really kind of puts it all together. And then Caden Proctor, who we're waiting on consistency, but he is quietly could potentially be a dominant player. And then another one of those guys that we talk about, like Michael Carroll, possibly Jackson Lloyd, who's another one of those 5-star guys. And you hope that maybe he's able to jump in and make an impact. And so the offensive line is where Bama's going to win or lose. It's always the case every year. You win and lose up front. The offensive line has not been that great. Coach Cap's gone out, and I think he has had a fantastic recruiting class and then another fantastic recruiting class. So they're building depth at that position, and that's going to be one of those, whoever comes out on top, and that could be the difference between Bama having a playoff season or not, right? Now, skill position wise, you got to figure that the running back spot is the one to keep an eye on. Jam Miller has emerged as Bama's running back, right? Justice Haynes transferred to Michigan because Jam Miller was just the better fit for Alabama. The way that he can catch the ball, and then the way that he ran in the Iron Bowl, you realize that you can feed Jam Miller. He's tough enough to do it. He's explosive enough, and by far he's Alabama's starter. So then who's the next guy? Now that Justice Haynes is at Michigan, that's the question that Alabama has, and that's the one that I think is really the most exciting position battle that that we're going to watch this year. So you got Kevin Riley, who was at County High. Remember, he was going to go to Miami, and then the Tide swooped in and got him. And as a former County High broadcaster, I always love those Wildcats. So we'll see, what that looks like. But he's got speed. He can be dynamic. Daniel Hill, who Alabama got from Meridian, Mississippi, another like star type player. Those guys didn't get a ton of touches last year, and you're talking about not seeing many snaps. How is that going to affect this battle? I really don't know. I just think that when you talk about guys and throwing them in there, having, and our friend Clint Lamb on covercrimson.com does a really great job of kind of illustrating that. But, you talk about Richard Young with 59 snaps, and Daniel Hill with 45 snaps, and Kevin Riley with 21 snaps. I mean, these guys aren't seeing the ball a whole lot. So it's not like there's one guy that emerges where you're going, hey, this is the dude to keep an eye on. But then the other guy, and I think that to me, I feel like the guy that's probably going to be the number 2 running back is Draylon Washington. And the reason I say that is that the guy transferred to Alabama from Louisiana to run the ball, and he touched the ball more than any of these guys. He was dynamic for those guys. Ended up with 14 catches and 154 yards and 2 touchdowns. But he also ran the ball 229 times and had 1,300 plus yards and 9 TDs. So he comes in with a ton of experience. Now I know that's, and what the Sun Belt, but it doesn't matter. I mean, I'm just saying, like, just game readiness. I would say going into practice, he's a guy that you really have to pay close attention to, just because of the fact that he comes in with a lot of experience. So that running back room, and then don't forget about AK Deer. Bama got him the running back out of Mississippi. I mean, you talk about a scoring machine. Could he possibly jump into this mix? I don't know. I mean, this is one of those areas where Coach DeBoer could differ from Coach Saban, and I would say if this was a Coach Saban team, very unlikely that Deere would have much of an impact. And I'm saying that as in go back and look at Derrick Henry, go back and look at Najee Harris. I mean, really great running backs that kind of had to wait their turn. So I'm wondering if that's kind of the case here with Deere. But I have this feeling that AK Deere one day is going to be the bell cow for this Bama running game. And then looking over at the wide receiver spot, this was an area that was so different to me at wide receiver, just because the transfers. I mean, like this entire room got gutted because so many players left and guys that would have had an impact. Now you do bring back Ryan Hollywood Williams, and you hope that he continues to impress. I mean, he obviously is the face of the team, maybe arguably the best talent on the team. Jeremy Bernard, who had a very consistent season coming over from Washington, but then who's the next guy, right? And you got a list of guys, but I think it starts with Isaiah Horton, who transferred from Miami. He caught a bunch of balls there, and then you got like a list of other dudes. How's Jalen Hale coming back from his injury? How about Cole Adams coming back from an injury? How about uh, Latsier Brooks or Derek Meadows as true freshmen? We saw a true freshman in Ryan Williams in this group last year have an opportunity, and then the other guy is Jalen Mbakwe, who switched from defense to offense, and we'll see what kind of impact he has. Rico Scott. I mean, there's other guys that you're gonna kind of throw into this mix, but where are they going to impact this offense, and how are they going to do with the coaching staff, with Ryan Grubb's offense? These are all things to keep an eye on. And then I guess the last thing is tight ends. And once again, you kind of look at the tight end position and you're going to yourself now, who comes back with the most experience, right? CJ Dupree was, I guess, Bama's starter. Robbie Oots, those guys are gone, right? And so you look at this group and you're like, okay, who's left at tight end? And it's Josh Cuevas, who I think could have a really good year. I mean, we kind of started to get a feel of Cuevas last season. He had over 230 snaps, and and can make some plays. I mean, he's able to catch the ball, and and I got a feeling that going into camp, I mean, he's probably the odds-on favorite. But then Danny Lewis, remember, he was going to transfer, came back. You got freshman Marshall Pritchett. Remember him? He was going to go to, I think, North Carolina, and ended up signing. And then there's another guy, Jay Lindsey, could be somebody else in this position. So it's really interesting to see how the tight end spot works. But that's the offensive side of the ball through where we are right now. And with practice coming, I mean, less than a week away, we'll do the defense, I guess, next. But that's the preview. And then we're not going to have our annual spring game, I guess, of steaks and beanie weenies, as Jay Coker said. Who knows what it's going to look like, but that's college football these days. Hey, I want to tell you guys a couple things. First off, thank you for being here and making this channel part of your day. Like, subscribe, thumbs up. I ask you that every day, and I appreciate all of you for being here and being a part of it. newlifeart.com. Like right now, I actually, this promo that we're doing was one of the things that I sent them. I said, look, we got to do something for the Super Bowl. And so I said, what about if we do 25% off Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith's print? And they're like, yeah, let's do that. So That's the best deal you're going to get. And there it is, 25% off. Heisman Heights. You can see Devontae high pointing that ball down in Baton Rouge. I love that play. Anytime you beat the Tigers down there, keep their crowd quiet. It's fantastic. And then there's Jalen Hurts. The story, remember, it was the year before Tua came in and relieved him against Georgia to win a championship. That's Jalen Hurts coming in to win the SEC title in relief of an injured Tua. I think those are two awesome prints, and you get them 25% off. New Fart. Bama Tailgate, where I hear about it at the beginning, Bama Tailgate at checkout, and Roll Tide, man. Thank you. Take advantage of that. And then finally, we're brought to you by always Pearl River Resort over there in Philadelphia, Mississippi. Blue Oyster Cult. Some of you guys are like, man, I love Blue Oyster Cult. Well, whether it's Godzilla, which is how about those guys making a hit song for Godzilla? And hopefully Bama will be like Godzilla this year. Don't Fear the Reaper. I think we all kind of fear the Reaper a little bit, but a great song. They're playing over at Silver Star, so that coming up, and then you can get tickets right now, PearlRiverResort.com. So check it out. You got the Timeout Sports Lounge, which is like a Vegas style sports book that's over there. You got table games and slots. You got Dancing Rabbit Golf Course, and that includes the Azaleas and the Oaks, Philip M. Steakhouse. If you want to go fine dining, you got Mom and Them's Restaurant. If you just want to, get it like, kind of really good restaurant food. You got bar food all over the place, and it's a short drive from Tuscaloosa, hour and a half, 2 hours and change from Birmingham. So thanks, guys. And if you waited this long, I want to tell you this. I haven't announced this yet. I haven't put anything out, but the Bama Tailgate Show was #1 on radio game days in Birmingham and Tuscaloosa. I'm just telling you guys because you stuck with me this long on the video. So congratulations. I think that's awesome, man. Every game day, Jay Coker, me, the late, great, big, sexy Elmo, Kenny White, LT, and everybody that made the show what it is. So, thank you guys. And, we'll kind of have more on that coming up. But anyway, I can't wait to game day. I almost feel like we need to do a radio 2-hour 8A game show just because. All right, Roll Tide, everybody. Thank you for being here. And we'll do it again soon.
To Pearl River Resort.